Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about the best basic car ever made, the Toyota Corolla. And to understand why, here's a little history lesson. Ford made the Model T, saying you can have it in any color you want as long as it's black. And old Henry proceeded to sell 15 million Model T Fords. And things are certainly different in those days. My grandfather was a mechanic in those days, and heck, he said you couldn't go 20 miles without having one or two flats that you had to fix, and you had to continually be working on the engines. And the old hand crank ones are hard to start, but hey, they were basic transportation. Now the next big basic car was the Volkswagen Beetle. The Volkswagen, people's car. The Germans eventually sold 21 million VW Beetles, but there's a really interesting story about the origin of the Beetle. Because amongst the many bad things that Adolf Hitler did, he was also a cheating car salesman. He had the idea of the people's car. Ferdinand Porsche designed it for him, and they sold millions of Reichsmarks worth of credits for building Volkswagens for the average people. But sadly, old Adolf never built a single Volkswagen for the people that put all their down payments on. He took the money and he made military hardware in an attempt to take over the world. But strangely enough, after the war, when the company started mass-producing Volkswagen Beetles, the Germans that could prove that they'd put their deposit down, they all got it applied for new Volkswagens after the Reich had fallen. And strangely enough, the Volkswagen, a car built upon fascism, ended up being the hippies' mode of transportation in the 60s. The world turned upside down on that one. During this heyday of the Volkswagens in the 1960s, Toyota, a little somewhat unknown company in the United States, started producing Toyota Corollas in 1966. They're still making them today, and as of 2017, they'd sold over 44 million of these Corollas. And you might well ask, how did they sell so many? Well, the things hardly ever break and can run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles, pretty much trouble-free. And I know people say, oh, they're such boring cars. Well, if you want an exciting car, one that you never know if it'll start when you turn the key, the Corolla's not for you, because every time you turn the key, these things start up. This particular one is a 2004 Corolla, and it's only got 196,000 miles on it, so the engine's basically broken in on this thing. Now, I've never personally seen one that had 1 million miles on it. The most I've ever seen on cars that I worked on was over 600,000 miles. But hey, that's a lot of miles for a car that doesn't cost that much. And we Americans, being somewhat lazy when it comes to driving, this one has an automatic. Most of the ones sold in the United States are automatics. Pretty dependable. I rarely see an automatic transmission in a Corolla break down. And this one has 4 doors. There's plenty of room inside. Heck, both of my sons were born in hospital here in Houston. We brought them back in a Toyota Corolla. And with the same Corolla, we drove them to high school too. Then they drove themselves later. Christmas time, we stuck the Christmas tree on the top and just tied it down with twine. And my favorite all-time work car was a 1981 Toyota Corolla SR5 hatchback that I could fit all kinds of tools in by popping the seats down. I could get jacks in there, I could get all kinds of stuff in that car. I had that thing for 30-something years. Then I sold the car to one of my customers who had a Ford that blew an engine, and she drove that thing more mileage in 3 years than I'd driven it in 30 years. And they really don't require all that much maintenance. I got customers with them. Some of them have 300,000-400,000 miles. Bought them used with 200,000 miles for very little money. All they would do was change the oil and filter. And if anything like the brakes and stuff would wear out, they'd bring it over here and I'd fix them. But the engines, transmissions, all original and still running fine. So if you're the type of person who's not really into cars, you want some basic transportation that's going to be reliable, get good gas mileage, not break down anywhere you're going, you might think about getting a Toyota Corolla. It's a wise move for one who thinks that cars are to get you from here to there. That's their main purpose for many people. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.